Hello and welcome to the discovery session about housing management, the guide to basic features, focusing on social housing in municipalities. So for the agenda for today, we're going to be looking at contract management, properties, and financial management, three main aspects of managing the social housing systems. Let's look at a system overview. So what is GIHABITA? It's an integration house management system that was developed to respond to the needs of managing of the housing stock, inventory, and available properties, dematerialization of housing requests and housing contracts, and all the financial management applying existing subsidies and managing any changing conditions to those. Quick consultation of processes, contracts, tenants, and properties, particularly interesting to municipalities. We estimate a reduction of 20% of operating costs while using an integrated housing management solution versus other methods. Let's look at an overview. So here we see the solution itself, and we see there's a dashboard with some information, some menus on the left, some dashboard of the values of rents for parishes on this case, and also some notification on the right side of the number of active content processes or activities that need to be managed and dealt with. What are the main features of a solution like this? One, we want to ensure that there's a housing management feature, also activity, properties, the litigation process, interventions or maintenance requests that are needed for the houses, application management for the consumer or the client that will be requesting these types of housing, invoicing and debt management and debt agreements for sometimes the litigation or due and delayed payments in the rents. So let's look at the tenant management site. And here we have an example where we have the personal data information, dependencies, the professional situation, income sources, history of past contracts, and also invoicing as well. In terms of contract management, there's the election of the vacant fraction, general data and types of contracts, the family aggregate and the definition of each member of the family that will be residents in this house, the history of the family as well, relationship between tenants, visualization of monthly rental processes, registration and consultation of addendums, integration with document management solutions as well, and consultation of all activities within the contracts, where with a single view you're able to have access to all the aspects of this contract. Also rent simulation and proposal management for new requests. So we want to ensure there is a calculation based on the laws or the rules that are established for the supporting regime. Also comparison between your current data of the family and the presumed situation of the house, and this can be variations of income, also of disabilities or single parent family. So those are some cases where the calculations might need to be deferred or changed, and you are able to recalculate on the fly for this case. The issue of reports and the possibility of adding new members to the simulation as well. Rent in force, which is another aspect that it's needed. Here you can see a list of the current income, what's the calculation, when it's valid until, and what's the maximum incomes as well for updates. Scheduling monthly processing of rents. So we can see here on the right side, we can see a list with all the months and the year and how much was the rent value based on the definitions of the configuration of those different contracts. Processing of rents according to the value in force in each active contract. Consultation of history of processes. automation of sending those processing lines to the financial management system for accounting purposes. There's also to ensure that this software has lists and reports that you're able. So all the lists you can easily order, filter, do advanced queries on it, export options like to an Excel spreadsheet or to a PDF. Other reports can also be that are available and can be also developed, like lists of contracts by the neighborhood or under-occupied or over-occupied fractions, the rent that was processed between a set of dates or a period, list of changes in contracts, rent values in force in all contracts over a period of time as well. Now in relation to activities management. So what is activity management? So management of activities associated with contracts, with work teams, issuing of lists and auxiliary forms for visits to these houses, and detection of irregular situations, follow-up of households and family aggregates as well. So here on the right side, we see a registration of one activity. There's a number, there's a work, who did the activity, what was the work carried out for this activity for each contract, so contract association, registration of all the subjects and topics that were part of that visit, and creating and organizing the work streams for the teams that will be doing the visits. Litigation management, which is another aspect of this particular solution, to ensure that if there are litigation processes associated to contracts, they are mapped and tracked accurately with time logs and updates, the track of the status of ongoing litigation, also record and log all the actions taken during the process, description of social and financial reasons for non-payment, recording of all the litigation phases that goes through the process, notifications and alerts, ensuring that we reduce the legal risk and improve efficiency, and also improve tenant relationship, and also a feature for renegotiation of debt. Let's talk now about properties. So in properties, we're here seeing the form for the building and the type of property in this case, and if there's a land register number or who was the promoter of that building, or where it's located, which street, which neighborhood. There's also additional fractions of a building where we can see the fraction itself, if it has a balcony, if it has a garage, if there's a patio. And here we can see the equity value of this fraction. Let's look at the public interface of this solution. So the public interface allows the access by the tenant or the contract person to submit and follow up maintenance requests that are needed, follow up on changes, either is the family aggregate, it's the ownership of the rent, if any contract details, they can be requested using this public interface. It also has the option to be multiple language. Now there's another aspect, which is financial management of this solution, where we deal with everything that is related with invoicing. So the monthly process of monthly or other periods of paying the rents, processing those rents according to the value in force at a time and per each contract, configuration of the maximum date to make the payments, definition of what penalties the tenants will incur, and also automatic sending of the processing information to the financial system for accounting purposes. There's also the component of payments, so invoices can be found automatically, either by the public portal or also sent by email to the tenor. They can be paid in total or partials. Paid amounts not associated with invoice can be registered as advance payments. The format of those invoice and receipts is adaptable to the client formats. And there's preparations of charges either by PayShop, direct debit, automatic file generation, or ATM payments as well. Each file is sent to the respective entity that it's going to be containing the invoice amount to be charged for each month. And you can use any of those forms of payments. The amounts charged are automatically registered against each invoice of the contracts for easy reconciliation. So here we see a balance of payments and also the total invoice amount per year. Here we're seeing some reports of death. So we can check for the extract of death for a particular contract. And that is all. Thank you so much for having me. If you have any queries, drop us an email or go to our website or to our blog and follow us. Thank you.